Clank, clank, do you hear them marching? Clank, clank, do you hear them coming forth? Clank, clank, do you hear the noise of 1,000 feet marching now? Clank, clank, why no, it's even more. Clank, clank, do you realize where they come? Do you remember what you did 20 years ago? Clank, clank, they have not forgotten what you did 20 years ago on that dark, dark Malgar night. Clank, clank, your fate is your own. They have not forgotten the crimes done that night. Clank, clank, when the moon was full, you made your move into the palace. Clank, clank, and you went in blades drawn. You were welcomed as friends until they saw your flashing blades strike their faces. Clank, clank, the first one you cut down was a child. Clank, clank, do you remember the slaughter? Clank, clank, the Marvin children you killed in their beds, one by one. Clank, clank, you stuck their sword through their chest, and even as they died screaming, clank, clank, they turned their heads to your soldiers. Clank, clank, and they asked one question before they died. Clank, clank, why here? And so, that dark, dark night, your deed was done. The children were slaughtered. Some had been awake, and they asked why you were there. And you slit their necks like they were nothing. And then the soldiers who were guarding them, the people who were there, the royal family, slaughtered to a man. Clank, clank, the palace stained with blood. Clank, clank, so you declared your coup was over, you declared they were corrupt, and you said you were the new power in the region, that you would rule fair. Clank, clank, but this was all a lie. You had slaughtered the innocent, you had slaughtered the family that had ruled for generations. But you forgot a single son. Clank, clank, and so he fled, 20 years on the run. Clank, clank, until he found the place which he would call his vengeance. Clank, clank, we are the forgotten, we are the forsaken, can only be called by the oath of the true Prince of Marvin. Clank, clank. And so, when you reach that rock, on the run, with 200 horsemen behind, he blew his horn and screamed out his dead family's names. His sister Eveline, his brother Agon, his father King Hagran, his mother Queen Hazan, his youngest brother Bravala, his youngest sister Talvavine. And so he put out the call, vengeance for their names, vengeance for those who fell. And so we rose from that cave, and the cavalry that rushed ever forward screamed in terrors, forsaken, unleashed themselves. It was a slaughter, 200 men lay dead, blood on the ground. So, do you hear us marching now? Clank, clank, do you hear us coming? For we are vengeance for every man and woman you slaughtered that night. We are vengeance for the young man's family you slaughtered. We are vengeance for the nation you wronged. Prince Thra will be held to his throne, and you murderers will be held to account. We are vengeance for all those you wronged in the past 20 years. We are vengeance for the nation you so desired and you so wronged. We are fury, and we ask you, do you see their faces when you sleep? Clank, clank, do you see the scream? Do you hear their screams, begging you to leave them be? Clank, clank, do you hear them begging not to touch the children? Clank, clank, and do you see the blood as you slit their throats one by one? Clank, clank, we are vengeance, we are fate, we are death tonight. We will restore the prince to his throne. We will make this kingdom whole. We are vengeance, we are the forsaken, we are what comes in the night when you have done wrong. We are here. See our blades, smell our rage. There will be justice, there will be vengeance, there will be victory tonight. The moon is full, so beware us, for we are the ones who knock.